The private jet jolted violently as if the air itself had turned against it, and a piercing wail cut through the cabin, sharp enough to make the crew flinch. Baby Hanul screamed with a ferocity that only heightened the tension, a tiny body twisting in his bassinet, as if sensing the danger all around him. Jinwoo Ra's knuckles whitened around the armrest. The notorious head of the Black Viper Syndicate, feared across continents, looked helpless, staring down at the small face that mirrored neither malice nor power, only pure distress. "Where is she? Where is the damn jet nurse?" he barked, voice low and dangerous, echoing through the confined space. His bodyguards flinched, but said nothing. No one dared contradict him. I don't know, sir," stammered one, glancing nervously at the baby. The child's wails escalated, a sharp, heart-ripping cry. Jinwoo's jaw tightened, every muscle taut with irritation, helplessness, and panic. No formula, no jet nurse, the flight hours long, and the baby's skin looked alarmingly dry. Sweat prickled his brow as he realized the worst. The child was dehydrating. Zara Nwosu stepped forward, her medical badge glinting under the cabin lights. She had been traveling for a neonatal conference in Europe, yet fate had thrown her into a storm of terror. "I can help," she said firmly, but not arrogantly. Her accent carried authority, yet every word seemed to challenge the room's expectation. Jinwoo's gaze snapped to her, cold and piercing. "And who exactly are you to touch my son?" "I'm a neonatal nurse," she said calmly. "If you let me, I can stabilize him." He glared at her. "Do you know who I am?" "I know exactly who you are," she replied, locking eyes with him. "I also know that if I don't act now, your son could die before you even reach Geneva." A tense silence fell. Jinwoo's hand hovered near his weapon. The guards bristled, ready to act. "Do you trust her?" one asked, a hint of disbelief in his voice. Jinwoo didn't answer immediately. He let his gaze drift to Hanul, the cries piercing through the cabin like bullets. Then, almost reluctantly, he nodded. "One move wrong and—" "I won't harm him," she interrupted, placing a hand near the bassinet. "Just let me help." Minutes felt like hours. Zara's hands were steady as she examined the baby. Her trained eyes immediately noticed the pallor, the dryness of the lips, the sunken eyes. "He's severely dehydrated," she murmured, almost to herself, before raising her head. "The formula has been tampered with. Someone wanted him to reject it." Jinwoo's face darkened. Rage twisted with fear, his breath shallow and fast. "Who did this?" "We'll find out later," Zara said, urgency in every word. "Right now, he needs hydration, immediate." "Fine," Jinwoo growled. "Do it." She began working, attempting to hydrate the child with what little formula they had, but Hanul rejected everything. His cries intensified, and a pang of despair hit Zara. She knew the only solution would be breast milk, but there was no jet nurse. And then, a painful memory stabbed her heart. Her own baby lost 6 months ago. Her voice quivered, but she forced calm. I can feed him," she admitted, the words catching in her throat. "I'm still lactating, it's due to my own loss. I can save him if you let me." Jinwoo's eyes narrowed, suspicion clashing with desperation. "You're saying you can feed my son?" "Yes," she said firmly, stepping closer to the bassinet. "I can save him." The bodyguards exchanged uneasy glances. Jinwoo's voice dropped, low and dangerous. "One wrong move, and I swear." "I will not harm him," Zara interrupted again. "But he will die if you hesitate." For a tense moment, the only sound was the baby's wailing and the low hum of the jet engines. Then, almost imperceptibly, Jinwoo nodded. "Do it." As Zara gently lifted Hanul, she whispered softly, "It's okay, little one. I've got you." Her voice carried warmth and reassurance, trembling under the weight of her own grief. Hanul's cries softened slightly at the contact, the child instinctively recognizing care and safety. Jinwoo watched, silently, unable to mask the flicker of emotion crossing his face. For the first time in years, he was not the powerful syndicate leader. He was just a father, helpless, vulnerable, and raw. Minutes passed, the baby finally beginning to feed, small hands curling around Zara's fingers. A photograph slid from her coat pocket, caught between her fingers, her late brother, smiling with youthful defiance. She glanced at Jinwoo, and her throat tightened. He wanted to make a difference. Tried to protect people like your son. Jinwoo's expression shifted subtly, a storm of anger, suspicion, and curiosity crossing his features. He studied her carefully, realizing there was more to this woman than met the eye. "Your brother?" he asked, voice low. "Yes," she admitted, carefully placing Hanul back into the bassinet after a full feed. He died trying to do the right thing." The baby's cries subsided to soft whimpers, the first signs of life returning to his small body. Jinwoo exhaled sharply, a mixture of relief and newfound respect hardening his features. Zara stood up, brushing herself off, her own tears threatening to spill. "He's stable for now," she said softly. "But we need to get him somewhere safe, where I can monitor him properly." Jinwoo's gaze softened slightly, a flicker of vulnerability showing through the hardened exterior. "You're staying with us, then," he said firmly. "You don't leave until I say." She met his eyes, understanding the unspoken threat. If she left, danger would follow, not just for her, but for Hanul. "Understood," she said, her voice steady despite the fear clawing at her chest. The cabin fell into tense quiet. The baby slept fitfully, the threat still looming outside the confines of the jet. Zara and Jinwoo exchanged a glance filled with unspoken acknowledgement. This was only the beginning. The jet landed with a soft shudder, but the tension didn't ease. Hanul's cries had quieted, yet every whimper felt like a countdown. Jinwoo didn't move to release Zara. He remained seated, arms crossed, watching her as if she were both a shield and a threat. "You'll stay close to him," he said, voice clipped. "I warned you, one misstep and—" "I know," Zara interrupted softly, her hand still trembling slightly. "I won't let him down. He's safe with me." He studied her, suspicion mingling with something he hadn't felt in years, admiration. He wanted to ask about her past, why she seemed so fearless, but the weight of the present pulled him back. Instead, he grunted and gestured toward the armored SUV waiting outside. "Move." The Swiss Alps stretched endlessly, white peaks glowing under the morning sun as the convoy carried them to the safe house. The baby slept lightly in Zara's arms, and she hummed quietly to soothe him, feeling an unexpected warmth settle in her chest. Jinwoo remained silent beside her, eyes fixed on the road, jaw tight. Inside the safe house, luxury clashed with militaristic design, reinforced doors, cameras, guards in every corner. Zara's heart sank as the reality hit. She was a prisoner here, even if it was for Hanul's protection. "You can't leave," Jinwoo said bluntly, watching her unpack a small medical bag. "Rival syndicates will kill you if you step outside unprotected." "I understand," she said, adjusting her stethoscope. "But I'm not staying because you order me. I'm staying for him." She gestured to the sleeping baby. "He needs me, and I won't let him down." "That's it." Jinwoo didn't reply, but there was a subtle shift, a silent acknowledgement that perhaps she was stronger than he anticipated. The days passed in tense rhythm. Hanul thrived under her care, each feeding, diaper change, and nap meticulously timed. Jinwoo watched silently at first, his presence intimidating yet strangely comforting to Zara. She noticed small moments, his soft humming at night, a gentle hand resting near the bassinet, his eyes lingering on the baby when he thought no one was watching. One evening, as a storm raged outside, Zara sat beside the nursery, rocking Hanul gently. Jinwoo entered quietly, standing at the doorway. "You sing to him?" she asked, raising an eyebrow. He shrugged, a faint blush coloring his cheeks. "Sometimes he cries at night. It calms him." "You're not as unfeeling as everyone thinks," she said softly, watching him carefully. He met her gaze, hard and unyielding at first, then slightly softer. "He's my son," he muttered. "I'm learning." Zara felt a pang in her chest. Empathy, understanding, a connection she hadn't expected to form with a man like him. "He's lucky to have you trying," she said gently. Jinwoo's jaw tightened. You lost someone too, didn't you?" Her eyes flicked away, the pain stabbing her like a blade. "Yes, my baby, 6 months ago. I can't forget." She swallowed hard. "I know what it's like to feel helpless, to watch someone you love suffer." He studied her, silent for a long moment. Then, in a quiet voice that only she could hear, he said, "I trust you. Don't make me regret it." As Zara returned Hanul to his bassinet, a file slipped from her coat, a photo of her late brother, Kalechi, smiling like he still had a chance to change the world. Jinwoo's eyes followed the image, curiosity and suspicion warring within him. "You knew him?" he asked, voice low. "Yes," Zara admitted, her fingers brushing the photo. He tried to help people like your son. He died trying to make a difference." Jinwoo's face darkened, emotions flickering. The room fell silent, the storm outside echoing the tension inside. A knock at the door jolted them. One of Jinwoo's men entered, delivering news with an uneasy expression. "There's chatter from the Phoenix Claw. They know she's with us. They may strike soon." Jinwoo's eyes narrowed, and he looked at Zara. "You hear that?" "I hear it," she said calmly, hiding the surge of fear. "We need a plan." He nodded. "We'll move you to a secondary safe house in the Alps. More isolated. More secure." Zara hesitated. "You're treating me like a prisoner." He shrugged, a shadow crossing his face. "I'm treating you like the only thing between me and losing everything." That night, as the storm raged, Zara couldn't sleep. Hanul rested lightly in his bassinet, his small hands twitching. She sat beside him, fingers brushing his cheek. "I promise, little one," she whispered, tears pricking her eyes. "I will protect you. No one will hurt you. Not while I'm here." Jinwoo appeared at the doorway, quiet, watching her for a moment. Then he approached slowly, placing a hand on the bassinet's edge. "You're strong," he said softly. "Stronger than I expected." He hesitated. "You care." Zara met his gaze, unafraid. "I care about him. Not you." "Not yet," she said, a small, bitter smile forming. He nodded, and for a fleeting moment, they shared understanding, a silent truce forged between necessity and unspoken emotion. The next morning, as sunlight crept over the snow-capped peaks, an urgent call came. A drone had spotted movement near the perimeter of the safe house. Zara's heart raced. "They're coming," she said calmly, though adrenaline surged through her veins. Jinwoo's response was precise, sharp, controlled. "Get Hanul ready. Move him first. You stay behind." Zara froze. "I'm not leaving him. Ever." He looked at her, intensity blazing in his eyes. "You'll have to trust me, or we all die." Minutes later, the convoy moved through the snow, tension sky-high. Every shadow seemed a threat, every gust of wind a warning. Zara's heart pounded in her chest as Hanul slept lightly, unaware of the danger that stalked them. Inside her mind, fear collided with resolve. "I will not let anyone take him. Not today. Not ever." The safe house arrival was tense, the snow crunching under heavy boots as Jinwoo's team secured the perimeter. Zara immediately began monitoring Hanul, checking vitals, ensuring the baby remained stable. Hours later, as dusk painted the Alps in shades of fire and ice, Zara finally let herself breathe. Hanul's soft breathing was a rhythm that anchored her, a fragile thread of hope in a world of chaos. Jinwoo sat nearby, silent, almost contemplative. "You're different from everyone I've known," he said quietly. "Most people would have run. You didn't." "I have no choice," she replied, voice steady. "Not when he needs me." And for the first time, Jinwoo felt the weight of his empire, the violence, the betrayals, the losses, and realized that some things were bigger than power. Love, loyalty, life itself. The alpine wind whipped around the isolated cabin, sharp and unrelenting. Inside, Zara adjusted Hanul in the bassinet, her eyes scanning every shadow through the reinforced windows. She could feel the tension radiating from Jinwoo, pacing near the fireplace, hands clasped tightly behind his back. "They know we're here," he muttered, voice low, but every word carried authority. "The Phoenix Claw will not hesitate to take the boy, and you, with them." Zara's stomach tightened. "We can't wait for them to make the first move," she said, biting her lip. "I'll help. I know how to fight, how to defend. I'm not helpless, Jinwoo." He stopped pacing, turning to her with a raised brow. "You? Fight. You're a nurse, not a soldier." "I'm a survivor," she said quietly, meeting his gaze. "And I won't let them hurt him. Ever." Jinwoo's lips twitched, almost a smile. "I don't doubt that. But this isn't about courage. It's about strategy. If they breach this place, we'll all die." Zara straightened, determination flashing in her eyes. "Then we plan. You keep Hanul safe, I'll handle the rest. Together." For the first time, Jinwoo paused and studied her. Her courage was raw, unrefined, yet it held a spark that even he couldn't ignore. "Fine," he said finally. "But one mistake, and you'll answer to me." Understand. I understand, she replied firmly. Night fell, darkness swallowing the cabin. The wind's howl was interrupted by distant movement, shouts, and the faint crunch of boots over snow. Zara's pulse quickened, Hanul stirring slightly in his sleep. She held him close, whispering, "It's okay, baby. I've got you." Jinwoo loaded his weapon, eyes scanning the tree line. "Stay behind me," he instructed, tone leaving no room for argument. Seconds stretched into minutes, the silence unbearable before the first shots rang out. Zara's instincts kicked in. She ducked low, dragging herself behind cover, heart pounding. She saw shadows moving, figures clad in black, closing in. "Keep Hanul quiet." Jinwoo hissed, his gun steady, every shot precise. Zara's hands shook, but she kept her focus. She could hear the attackers coordinate, the tension like electricity in the air. One figure slipped closer to the cabin's side door. Without hesitation, Zara grabbed a heavy object and hurled it, striking him. He stumbled, giving Jinwoo the perfect opportunity to neutralize the threat. The battle escalated fast, a whirlwind of motion, gunfire, and adrenaline. Zara fought with surprising skill, her upbringing in Lagos giving her reflexes that caught even Jinwoo off guard. She moved fluidly, disarming, blocking, striking, every action fueled by the instinct to protect Hanul. During a pause in the chaos, she found herself facing the rival gang leader, tall, ruthless, and smirking. "You shouldn't be here," he sneered, advancing. "I have no choice," she said, voice low but steady. "Step closer, and you'll regret it." His smirk faltered slightly, but he lunged anyway. Zara sidestepped, using his momentum against him, and forced him to the ground. Jinwoo's hand was on her shoulder then, grounding her. "Good work," he murmured. The fight ended as quickly as it began. The Phoenix Claw retreated, leaving chaos in their wake. Jinwoo moved to Hanul, checking the baby with careful hands, and Zara exhaled, tension draining slowly from her body. "We can't stay here," Jinwoo said, eyes dark with resolve. "They'll be back. And next time, they won't hesitate." Zara nodded, holding Hanul tighter. "Then we finish this. End it once and for all." The following day, Jinwoo and Zara prepared for a counterattack. Using Zara's knowledge of the syndicate's networks, they fed false information to the Phoenix Claw, drawing them into a trap at an abandoned warehouse. Before leaving, Zara lingered in the nursery, whispering to Hanul, "Stay safe, little one. I'll be back. I promise." Her fingers brushed his cheek, and she felt a surge of protective love stronger than anything she had ever known. The warehouse was tense, silent but for the hum of distant traffic. Shadows shifted as the rival gang arrived, unsuspecting of the ambush waiting. Jinwoo's team was ready, concealed behind crates and machinery. Zara's heart pounded as she watched from cover, weapon ready. "Are you sure this will work?" she asked quietly. Jinwoo's gaze hardened. "It has to. We don't have another option. Trust me." Seconds stretched. The rival gang moved in, falling into the trap exactly as predicted. Chaos erupted, the air thick with shouts, gunfire, and the smell of smoke. Zara's mind worked in overdrive, coordinating with Jinwoo's team, neutralizing threats, and protecting her flank. Then, the gang leader, an older man with a cruel grin, cornered her. Time slowed. She remembered everything her brother Kalechi had taught her. Stay calm, aim true, and never hesitate. "You don't belong here," he sneered. "I belong wherever he is," she replied, voice steady. And he's gone. A struggle ensued, the fight brutal but precise. With one final, desperate move, Zara disarmed him and fired. The leader fell, the warehouse falling into tense silence, broken only by the heavy breaths of the survivors. Jinwoo emerged from the shadows, eyes locking with Zara's. "You did it," he said softly, a rare note of admiration in his voice. "You saved us all." Zara lowered her weapon, chest heaving. "We did it together. Don't forget that." In the aftermath, Swiss authorities intervened, dismantling the remaining gang elements. Jinwoo's vow to end the Black Viper's violent legacy was firm. "For Hanul," he said simply, voice filled with uncharacteristic emotion. "For him, this stops now." Weeks later, Zara and Jinwoo returned to the safe house, quieter now, a fragile peace settling in. Hanul thrived, laughter replacing cries, and Zara found herself watching Jinwoo interact with the baby, something tender and unguarded in his demeanor. "You've changed," she said one evening as he sang softly to Hanul, a lullaby almost lost in translation but full of feeling. He looked at her, a small smile tugging at his lips. "No, he's changed me." Zara felt a lump in her throat. For the first time in months, she allowed herself to hope, to imagine a life beyond fear and violence. A life where love and family could exist, fragile but real. If you're loving this story so far, make sure to like, comment your favorite moment, and subscribe. You don't want to miss the conclusion. That night, as snow blanketed the Alps, Zara reflected on the journey, her grief for her lost brother, the danger she had faced, the man she had come to trust, and the baby who had changed everything. Jinwoo watched her quietly from across the room, realizing that trust and love were not weaknesses, but the only way to build a future worth protecting. The snow had stopped, leaving a quiet calm over the Alps. Inside the cabin, Zara carefully placed Hanul in his bassinet, brushing a strand of hair from his forehead. His soft breathing was a comforting rhythm, yet the tension from the previous weeks still lingered. She glanced at Jinwoo, who stood near the window, hands clasped behind him, eyes distant. "You've changed," she said softly, approaching him. "Not just him, you. You're softer than you used to be." Jinwoo didn't turn immediately. Then slowly, he faced her, expression unreadable. "I had to change," he admitted. "For him. For you. I realized there's more to life than control and power. There's this." He gestured to Hanul, then back at her. "Family." Zara swallowed hard, emotions twisting in her chest. "Family, it's not just blood. It's trust, care, love. You're learning what that means, Jinwoo." He stepped closer, hands brushing hers lightly, a tentative gesture filled with unspoken acknowledgement. "I don't know how to be a father," he confessed. "Not without you. Not alone." Zara's heart ached with empathy. "You don't have to be. You have me. We have him. Together." Days turned into weeks. The Black Viper Syndicate was dissolved, its operations replaced with a legitimate security consulting firm Jinwoo founded. The violent life he'd led was behind him. Zara resumed her work at a local medical center, but she never left Hanul's side. The bond between her and Jinwoo deepened, fragile but undeniable, a mix of trust, respect, and the faint stirrings of love neither had anticipated. One evening, Jinwoo called Zara into the nursery. Hanul was asleep, tucked into a blanket Zara had sewn herself. On the small table, he placed a folder, formal adoption papers. "I want this to be official," he said quietly. "He's ours. Legally. But I need you to know something. This isn't just paperwork. It's a promise. To you, to him, to us." Zara felt a lump in her throat. Tears threatened to spill as she took the papers in her hands, the weight of the moment pressing down. I don't know what to say," she whispered. "Say yes," he said softly. "Say yes, and we build this life together. From the ground up. No violence, no threats, just family." She looked at him, really looked, at the man who had been a ruthless syndicate leader, the man who had faced death 1,000 times, the man whose vulnerability only he and Hanul had witnessed. And she saw him, saw his heart, his potential, the man who had grown in just months into someone worthy of trust and love. "Yes," she finally said, her voice steady but brimming with emotion. "Yes, we do this. Together." For the first time in months, they laughed, quietly, softly, but genuinely. Hanul stirred, tiny hands reaching up instinctively, as if sensing the shift in the room, the safety and love surrounding him. Zara lifted him, cradling him close. "This is our new beginning," she whispered. Jinwoo joined them, placing a protective arm around both mother and child. He kissed Hanul's forehead, then looked at Zara with an intensity that spoke louder than words. "Our life starts now," he said. The weeks that followed were filled with small joys, soft morning sunlight spilling into the nursery, laughter echoing down the quiet hallways, dinner shared as a family, errands, and the simple acts of life that once seemed unattainable. Hanul thrived, laughing freely, learning to walk, growing in health and happiness. And between Zara and Jinwoo, a love blossomed quietly, steadily, built on trust, shared trauma, and the bond forged in the chaos of danger and loss. Zara often caught herself watching Jinwoo with Hanul, how he sang softly, read stories, and learned the small intricacies of parenthood. And Jinwoo, in turn, would watch Zara. The way she smiled when Hanul reached for her, how she gently corrected him when he stumbled, how her laughter filled the apartment with warmth. He realized, fully and without hesitation, that she had saved not only Hanul, but also him, from himself. One afternoon, Zara sat by the window, holding Hanul in her lap. He babbled happily, pointing at the snow outside. Jinwoo entered, setting down a small cup of tea, his hand brushing hers as he reached for Hanul. "You know," he said softly, "I never imagined this. Not the life, not the love, not peace." Zara smiled, brushing back a stray hair. "Peace is earned, Jinwoo. And love is patient, forgiving, and brave. You've learned all of that in the past months." He knelt beside them, placing a hand on Hanul's tiny shoulder. "I never want to go back," he said. "I've seen what the past brings. Pain, death, betrayal. I want us, to last." Zara looked into his eyes, seeing the sincerity and vulnerability there, and felt her heart swell. "Then let's promise," she said. "No more running, no more fear. Just us, together." "And Hanul." He nodded solemnly, sealing the promise with a gentle kiss to her temple. Hanul giggled, clapping his tiny hands, sensing the happiness that enveloped the room. As night fell, they tucked Hanul into bed, a soft lullaby filling the room. Zara whispered, "You are loved, little one. Always." Jinwoo joined her, harmonizing softly, the two voices weaving together, carrying warmth and hope through the quiet apartment. The camera of imagination would pan out from the small apartment in Geneva, snow falling gently outside. Inside, a family sat together, fragile but strong, healed by love, loss, and courage. The world outside might still be chaotic, but here, peace reigned. Zara reflected quietly, holding Jinwoo's hand. "I never thought I'd find home again. But I have. Here. With you. With him." Jinwoo's fingers intertwined with hers. "Home is not a place," he said softly. "It's a choice. And every day, I choose this. Choose us. Choose family." Hanul yawned, eyes closing in sleep, and Zara smiled. Their story wasn't just about survival. It was about courage, trust, and the unexpected paths that lead to love. If you've been on the edge of your seat, don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and comment below. Tell us what part of Zara and Jinwoo's journey moved you the most. Your support helps us bring more Afro-Korean stories to life. And as the night settled, with a baby sleeping peacefully between them, a nurse who had lost so much, and a man who had ruled with fear, they finally knew what it meant to heal, to protect, and to love, completely, fiercely, and without fear. Their story was just beginning, and this time, it was theirs.